So I know we talk about all the great things about Cincinnati, but what about the things that you may not love? All right, hate even. It's kind of a strong word, but I think in this case, look, we just want to be honest with you because we don't want you to find out later and then be mad that we didn't tell you, right? All right, well, let's talk about it right after this. Hi, I'm Rhonda with Covey and Shepherd Realtors here in Cincinnati. And, we love that people do come here from all over the world and call Cincinnati home. But there are definitely some things that you're going to want to know. And so let's just talk about some of the things. And in a lot of cases, they're probably silly. And my list is probably different than your list or somebody else's list. So make sure that if you have questions or you've maybe been here for a little bit, make some comments. We want to know what you guys are thinking. So let's just start with crime. Now, I cannot tell you like bad areas versus good areas or any of that because it's very subjective. What I am willing to put up with may be completely different from what you want to be around every day. So it's really important that you check out the crime statistics, and I'm just going to drop a link to LexisNexis crime map. That's my favorite for just showing where things have happened. So if you pick an address, you can kind of see what's gone on all around that address. Okay, you're probably going to think this is ridiculous, but it's so frustrating. We'll have really great weather, and then all of a sudden it will start to cool off, and I'm starving. I want to eat everything in sight, and I'm not talking about like just, more almonds or, a light salad. No, you want like rich, thick, dairy, heavy comfort food kind of things. And it just is maddening because you can go all summer, you'll lose some weight, you'll be feeling good. And then all of a sudden fall hits and a lot of people gain weight. They don't want to leave the house. Like it's so cold today. It was in the 30s this morning when I got up and went out. And right now it's in the 50s and it's sunny. It looks warm, but it's chilly. I'm in a sweater. And I think just having those seasons, like I love the change of season, but it makes me crazy that I am suddenly hungry. And I just, it's just me, but no, it's not just me. Because Jason Curley on my team moved here from Texas and he said the same thing. So we kind of have a joke. It's like, why am I so hungry today? He's like, because it's cold. So yeah, it's silly, but that's one of those things like just be aware of. All right, next on the list, flat backyards. Now, why do I bring that up? Because obviously I'm a real estate agent and we have a lot of people who maybe want to put a play set up or they like to do different things in their backyard. There are areas of town which it's a lot of them. Cincinnati is known as, like the Seven Hills, and it's frustrating. Like things are flat and then the next street you go over, it's hill. And so you can be in one subdivision and unless it literally, the whole thing was just a flat farm, there's probably some part of it that has some sort of, hilly area. And when you look at the back of the house, like you're on the deck and it just drops. Almost like being on a cliff in California. Like there are parts that feel like that exact same thing. You feel like the kids would just roll all the way down the hill if you let them outside. So just understand that, yes, there are places where you will find flat backyards, and then there are other places where they are much harder to find. So certainly, you know, that's when we really come in handy, and we can kind of help you, even if you can't see it in the photos. Like, there are some things we know. So in case you haven't been to the Midwest is its own beast, I guess. Columbus, Ohio, which is 2 hours away from here, is kind of been known as like the testing site for all sorts of brands and companies. If it makes it in Columbus, it will make it in Middle America. So what does that mean? That means we have a lot of chains, a lot of chain restaurants, chain grocery stores, and, retail clothing stores. All right, so let's talk about traffic, because as much as it's not that bad compared to some places in the world, there are some hot spots. Number one, events. Get downtown early if you're heading down to see a game or a concert or anything like that. Just because everybody else coming downtown, it just usually creates a lot of backups. The same would be if you wanted to go to see the Cincinnati Zoo lights on a really nice, weekend. When it's 10 below, there's no traffic. But if it's like in the 50s or 60s and it's clear and it's nice, you just go early. We don't have to sit in traffic all day. Same with Kings Island, when they open the haunt. But I think the worst offender, and something that we had to all deal with last year, is the Brent Spence Bridge. And it runs over the Ohio River between Ohio and Kentucky. And so if you have to go to the airport, which is located in Kentucky, just because when they do construction, it's a huge bottleneck. According to City Beat, which is our kind of local alternative paper, so it carries the freight equivalent of 3% of the nation's gross domestic product. That's a lot of stuff. It's like, what happens if our ports aren't open? Same. If people can't get across the bridge, nobody's getting their stuff, right? So know that is a little bit of a headache, and definitely something that you're probably going to see more construction on, or just they're going to build a new one. And it's more consistent. But the problem is, if you're like me and you don't really know that it's game day, or you don't know what you're just watching, like traffic all backed up, or you're stuck in it, and it may just take a bit longer to get to where you want to go. All right. And lastly, and it only happens once every 17 years. And so why am I complaining? Well, because it was bad. Really bad. I did a whole video about bugs, which you can check out right here. Totally forgot about cicadas. And probably because when I did the video, they weren't out, and we don't see them on a regular basis. You'll see one or two on an off year. But when you're getting the swarm, like they live in the ground for 17 years, they come up. They don't sting, they don't bite, they're just like dumb, and they just bounce off things and they land on you and you don't know it, and then they make a weird noise. It's so weird. And I just don't like bugs anyway. So you add the fact that they're just on me and they're everywhere. Okay, so easier to see from here, but my windshield did better than this area. Look at this, they're everywhere. Now I gotta clean all that off. Ugh, it's gross. I'm ready for cicadas to be gone. It's not cool. It's absolutely not cool. And it felt like a long period of time when they were out, and definitely out in the suburbs where there's been construction, a little more consistently. The houses are a little bit newer. It's not as bad. But in the older areas, it was awful. Like, you can't hear anything except the cicadas. And there were people like walking around, like if they were out and about, they're walking around with a tennis racket, just trying to keep them out of their face, off them, because you drive and they're bouncing off your car. They're just bouncing off the road. You just see them. It's it's so bad. I would say that has probably been one of the worst things we have experienced since we've been here. And yeah, last year was our 17th year here. So we moved in the fall of 2004. So we probably missed it completely that year. But they do last for a while. It's several weeks at least. And so just be prepared. Again, they don't hurt you. But if you don't like bugs, you may not enjoy cicada season every 17 years. So, but yeah, that's what I've got for today. And I certainly want to know what you guys are thinking. And, does any of this matter? Does any of this make it so you don't want to live here? Let us know. Remember to like, share, and subscribe. And we will see you next time.